It is not a disease of the body, but a sickness of the mind enabled by technology. It is a crisis engineered for speed, designed for addiction, and unleashed upon a population uniquely vulnerable to its digital lure. Unlike the old gambling sites, this battleground is widespread. It fits in your pocket. It runs on a cheap data 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We are talking about Aviator, the online betting sensation that has become the single most destructive social and economic phenomenon in modern Kenya. It looks simple, a minimalist interface, a tiny plane taking off, a rising red curve promising exponential return. The mechanics is simple: bet before takeoff. Watch the multiplier rise. Cash out before the plane randomly flies away or crashes and lose everything. It is a distilled shot of risk and reward, instant dopamine delivered straight into the limbic system. This true story is not about the game. In this video, we are looking at how a seemingly playful piece of code is systematically killing ambitions, stability, and taking away lives in Kenya. The genius and the inherent toxicity of Aviator lies in its psychological simplicity. It is a perfect distillation of the near-miss effect and the variable reinforcement schedule, two pillars of gambling addiction presented in an infinitely repeatable, visually compelling format. This is where the core of its destructive power lies, in the architecture of its engagement. Traditional gambling requires time, physical movement, or at least a defined interval between outcomes. Aviator removes these frictions entirely. The cycle time is mere seconds. Every single flight is a new opportunity to win, or more commonly, to chase a loss. The speed is intoxicating. It overrides the brain's rational prefrontal cortex and directly stimulates the primitive reward center. Let's dissect the mechanism. The plane takes off. The multiplier rises. The player's core tension point is not if they win, but when they take their profit. The brain is presented with an impossible dilemma. Cash out now for a guaranteed small win, or wait longer and get a potential massive win. This trade-off between certainty and possibility is a fundamental human weakness, mercilessly exploited by the game's design. The infamous near miss is the most potent psychological trap. Imagine a player bets 1,200 Kenya shillings, intending to cash out at 20x. When the plane hits 19.9x, the finger hesitates and the plane flies away. The loss is total, but the psychological message is awkward. I was so close. I almost won. This feeling of proximity to victory, despite the actual loss, triggers the same neural pathway as an actual win, convincing the player that their strategy was correct and that the victory is only one more attempt away. This is the toxic logic that drives the chase. Furthermore, the game employs illusion of martingale strategy. Players are often convinced that if they double their bets after every loss, they will eventually recover all previous losses and make a profit. So they bet 100 Kenya shillings and lose it, then bet 200 and lose it, then bet 400 and win at 3x. They have recovered 700 shillings loss and gained a profit. This works perfectly in theory, but it requires an infinite money and infinite time. Aviator, with its random crash mechanism, ensures that a long streak of losses will eventually wipe out any player who employs this strategy, even within minutes. This digital environment fosters a profound sense of control dilution. Because the player decides when to cash out, they feel they are exercising skill, timing, and judgment rather than simple luck. They study patterns, they look for trends, they develop rituals, all of which are utterly meaningless against pseudo-random number generator. The accessibility is the final accelerant. Unlike a fixed odds sports event where one must wait 90 minutes for a result, this continuous availability creates a relentless, feedback loop. The player is perpetually hovering between poverty and sudden temporary riches. This constant tension depletes mental energy, damages impulse control, and leads to a state of chronic psychological distress that can only be momentarily relieved by the next disparate bet. The game is in essence a financial torture, perfectly designed to extract the maximum amount of money in the minimum amount of time from the economically distressed. Its design is tragically effective, and this efficiency is established on one technological marvel that has become its chief accomplice, the mobile money ecosystem. The story of Aviator's dominance in Kenya is impossible to tell without addressing the elephant in the digital room, M-Pesa. The technology that was once hailed as the ultimate tool for financial inclusion has tragically become the single greatest enabler of this financial exclusion crisis. M-Pesa, through Safaricom, represents the digital circulatory system of the Kenyan economy. Its ability to move money without friction is preciously what makes it the perfect getaway for addictive gambling. Furthermore, the widespread of M-Pesa agents, even those without money in M-Pesa accounts, can participate. The instantaneous nature of cash out is equally destructive. If a player manages a small win, they can instantly withdraw into their M-Pesa. The instant gratification provides a powerful positive reinforcement, confirming the game's core lie that fast, easy money is possible. However, the true economic mechanism is that the easy withdrawal encourages easy deposit. The money is always in flux, never settled, always just a few clicks away from being sent back into the betting account. This partnership, whether intentional or merely incidental, raises profound ethical and regulatory questions for Safaricom and the Central Bank of Kenya. Addiction is never a solitary disease. It is a bomb that detonates in the center of a family, sending cracks into every relationship. The key victims are often ones who have never placed a bet: the spouse, the children, or the parents. The foundation of Kenyan family unit, traditionally built on a mutual financial support and communal responsibility, is crumbling under the weight of gambling debt. Aviator creates a financial invisibility. Money that a spouse thought was secure, that a parent believed was being saved for school fee, or that an employee assumed was correctly managed, vanishes instantly and without trace into the digital quicksand. Aviator addiction fuels anxiety, severe depression, and tragically has been linked to cases of suicide. The rise of Aviator was not a surprise. It was a predictable outcome of the confluence of widespread mobile money, high unemployment, and a regulatory body that has proven slow, ineffective, and often politically compromised: the Betting Control and Licensing Board. The agency mandated to safeguard the public's interest in gambling has become overwhelmed, outpaced, and arguably outmaneuvered by the speed and sophistication of the digital betting. The core regulatory failure is a failure to understand the technology. Aviator operates on a continuous instant play model, fundamentally different from the fixed odds sports betting that BCLB was originally established to monitor. The rules governing advertising, responsible gambling, and consumer protection were simply not designed for a game that provides hundreds of high-risk outcomes per hour.